Hello, welcome to this video. So this one is in collaboration with Hero Cosmetics, which is a brand that's been growing on me. But, you know, I might add that they have sent me their things, so that's worth noticing. But nevertheless, I think that their range of products are pretty solid. They are what I perceive as accessible, fairly affordable, and I think just pretty intentional with who they're trying to cater towards. Like, I feel like they're being considerate in trying to make formulations that will work for a lot of people, especially those that are trying to combat acne a little without being too harsh, which is something that I definitely value. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Pimple Correct Acne Clearing Gel Pen here. And I think it's worth mentioning that this brand is most well known for their pimple patches, which are the Mighty patches here. I think they're pretty solid. I'm someone who always has pimple patches on hand, and if you saw my last skincare video, how I tend to use them is I will kind of wait until a pimple, because I usually get not so much like hormonal big cystic acne. I do use tretinoin, which I'll cycle back to that later, but that usually helps to keep the really big ones at bay. But usually I have a good amount of like little pimples pop up, and I wait until I feel like they can be squeezed out of the bowl. So I'll take 2 Q-tips, squeeze them best I can without like being too irritating, put on a thin layer of BHA, wait for that to dry, put on a pimple patch, and then usually by the next morning that pretty much clears everything out and works really well for me. So these in conjunction work perfect for that sort of situation. But more interestingly is I got this I think around 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had to do that as much because this is really good at zapping away those small sizes, at least for me. Getting into this product a little bit more, it retails for $19.99 for the 10 milliliters of product. I know it doesn't sound like that much product, but because it's like a spot correctment product, I think this is gonna last a long time. Like, for me at least, I don't expect to use this up before the product expires. The component feels high quality and it is very functional. I think this color is pretty. It's very slim, so it fits. Like, I just put this like in with my other brushes because it's conveniently placed on my desk, and I like how slim it is because yeah, it just doesn't create any more clutter. It just feels like very sturdy. It's got some heft to it. The applicator is this like rubber nozzle that I think is supposed to mimic like a fingertip, so you can kind of just apply it like this, and there's a little hole in the middle where the product comes out from, and then here where you see this white rubber, you can squeeze it and it kind of acts like a super precise squeezy tube out of this little hole, so you can get just like the tiniest amount. Let's see if I can get this to show up. Yeah, so do you see that little bump? That's usually how much product I'll use on one zit, and then I'll just tap that on my little pimple and call it that. So that's really nice and all. And now that I've got the product smoothly flowing, it worked really smoothly for that. In my day-to-day, no problems. But when I first got it, it took me like 15 minutes to get the product flowing out, and that was definitely frustrating. In the instructions, it says to place the tip firmly against some kind of small hard surface and then press this white you know, starter squeezer bit until the product is flowing. And I almost gave up a few times. I was convinced that I had a faulty product. I felt like I was doing as the instructions said to do just fine. I don't know, I guess just be patient with it. Now that it works, it's great, but I definitely want to highlight that like it took a long time to get flowing. But the formulation itself, it is 2% salicylic acid with lactic acid and tea tree capsules. They also have some soothing ingredients in here, such as aloe leaf juice and prickly pear extract. And I guess they also have azelaic acid in here. I think the main thing is there's salicylic acid and tea tree, and then there's also some other stuff that kind of helps tamper and make sure it's not too irritating. All in all, it comes out in a nice smooth gel. There's supposedly little capsules, which I haven't really noticed when squeezing things out. It's fragrance free technically, but it does definitely have a noticeable tea tree oil extract smell to it, because that is an ingredient here, and if you smell tea tree oil, you know that stuff is like pretty strong, hard to ignore. Getting into how this works for me, usually what I'll do is, like I said, I use tretinoin at night, so I've been using this product more so in the morning because I don't want to layer too many strong actives after I wash my face, but before moisturizer is when I use this product and just pop a tiny little bit on whatever pimples are bothering me. And I think that this works really, really surprisingly well for those small pimples. It really does kind of zap them away. In my experience, yeah, I'll like put them on a bump, and then by the afternoon, I can barely notice the bump, or the bump has pretty much reduced to being flat and it's just an area of redness. The first part of my face that I really noticed like a significant improvement was, I think the first day I didn't have that many pimples, but I did have this like little milia out here that had been there since like September, because milia lasts forever and like it's not really the same as it, but I was kind of getting to the point where I was picking at it and it was getting kind of red and irritated, and I know I shouldn't, but nevertheless that's where it was at, and I decided to try to put a little bit on that, as well as like whatever pimples I had on my face at the time. But later that night, the same night I had applied it, that like milia had reduced from being like a very hard little ball to like kind of just a bump, and then the next morning it was just like redness where it was before, and now it's gone, which is crazy because like I said, it had been there for like well over a month. Usually milia lasts me like probably like 2 or 3 months at least. They're very frustrating. I'm not saying that this is a cure to milia by any means, and that was a really, really small one, but I was definitely impressed and motivated to try this product out more. So I've been using this for at least 2 weeks now, and let me just show you where I'm at right now. So before I put any makeup on, I wanted to show you how my skin is looking, and my skin is just very clear and smooth. I pretty much just have this one bump here, which is new today, and this is the perfect kind of bump to use this product for. It's kind of smaller and not very raised. It's like a little red and it'll probably go away on its own, but this will help make it go away faster. Whereas here's a good example of something that, for me at least, isn't the best. This one's a little bit bigger and you can kind of see like a big old sebum kind of poking through. This has been on my face for like a week, and I would categorize it as like not exactly a whitehead, but like something a little bit more stubborn. So it was like a bigger, harder bump at first, and I tried using this product on it and it didn't exactly like deflate and go away on its own. It's still something that I feel like kind of gotta squeeze out or have a little bit more patience for. But so there are your reference points. Otherwise, like my face is pretty much just very smooth, which I think is a testament. Usually I have like probably 4 to 6 of these sorts of bumps scattered throughout my face, maybe around my cheeks and forehead. Although these kinds of bumps I can definitely cover up with makeup, but the fact that I only have like 2 little bumps right now is pretty minimal for me and my skin. As you can see, I think that this, for me at least, works really, really well for those little pimples. I basically have like none of them on my face right now. I am wearing makeup over now, but still super smooth. And then while I don't think that this product is like a cure-all miracle for all acne, I think that it still really does help with those more stubborn, bigger zits. I don't have great examples on my face, but I do have a few instances of like body acne, which I'm not going to show or get into, but this has been really helpful for turning over the process of those, because those are usually much, much more stubborn for me and last a lot longer. All of this to say, I think that this product has been working really, really well for me, and I didn't really expect it because I have tried all sorts of BHAs, and I've tried a few pimple zappers before in my life, but it wasn't really something I was too keen on, especially now that I've tried Tret, because I don't know, I just don't want to layer my skin with too many harsh things. But what I really like about this is that I feel like it works without being too intense. And of course, you know, if you have sensitive skin, take it gentle, take it easy, but this doesn't feel harsh. There's like no stinging sensation, at least in my experience. Even if it's like a zit that I've kind of picked at and then I put this on over, it still feels like relatively soothing, no burning or anything. It's worked for me. If you're someone who struggles a lot with acne, I've said this before in like skincare videos, I think it's very, very personal and it's kind of just a trial and error. And this happened to work for me. I think that, you know, it's something that you could try. Maybe it'll work for you too. Maybe it won't, but I hope it does, because this has been awesome. My face has been super baby smooth, and love it for that. I haven't even had to like do my whole pimple popping process because it just like goes away on its own. So that's really cool. And you know, when it comes to products that I get sent, I am not really a big skincare person. I'm pretty hesitant to try new things, so I don't end up buying a lot of new things to try on my own. So like when I get sent things, I'm very mindful that, you know, I probably wouldn't have bought this, but I think what really like stands out to me in proving its quality is that if this item that I went out on a limb to try, but not off of my own dollar, is that like it gives enough impact to me and does something to my skincare routine that I would now be like remiss without, to the extent that I would repurchase this on my own. That's when it really stands out as like being pretty impressive to me. And I think that this product falls in that category. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you end up trying this out, and thank you so much for watching as always.